spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for
Started.
mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Okay, if I could call the Douglas County Board of Commissioners to order and roll call, please. Oh, I was going to do that at the end, but go ahead. I'll mention that. Copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the Legislative Chamber. Also, defibrillator is available on the back wall of this Legislative Chamber. With that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Katie.
All right.
Dan.
Good
Go
morning.
ahead with the roll call.
Commissioner Borgeson. Here. Commissioner Boyle. Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Here.
Commissioner Duda.
Present.
Commissioner Kraft.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers is absent, and Mr. Chair Morgan.
Here.
Yes.
Okay. The first item is the Douglas County Board of Equalization. We have the approval of the minutes of Board of Equalization from July 24th, and also call for a meeting to set August 7th as a date of hearing on certified assessment corrections and additions of omitted properties on the tax rolls that have an increase in value.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Boyle, seconded by Commissioner Duda. Roll call, please. Is this working today?
It's working today.
Okay.
Even Boyle's?
Mr. Duda?
Is even yours voter working today?
I don't have one.
Oh.
I don't know what you did with it. Commissioner Duda's doing that. He took away my thing. I can't vote.
Commissioner Kraft, are you voting yes?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I was
that's
trying
all
to get this thing plugged in and plug won't take it.
Okay, motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Okay, this is a time for citizen comments concerning the Board of Equalization. If anyone would like to come forward with any item concerning the Board of Equalization, they can at this time. All right. We'll go ahead with the resolution approving the application of tax exemption on motor vehicles recommended for approval by the county treasurer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Boyle, seconded by Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you,
adjourn.
Chris, for the phone.
Please vote.
You might need to explain that to people over there.
Vote yes.
Commissioners, while you're voting, I just wanted to mention that NCAP, which I sit on the board of, we have a vehicle on this list. And also, I forgot to mention that Commissioner Boyle, his vote will still not appear, but so he announces to me what he's voting. And Commissioner Kavanaugh, need your vote.
I'm sorry.
I need
Didn't
your
get
vote.
your vote.
All right. Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call the Douglas County Board of Commissioners to order. First item's the minutes and claims. Oh, get it. Go ahead. For the Board of Commissioners.
Commissioner Borgeson. Commissioner Boyle.
Yep.
Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Here.
Commissioner Duda.
Here.
Commissioner Kraft.
Yes,
Commissioner Rogers is absent. And Mr. Chair.
Here. Okay, minutes and claims, and also approval of the minutes from July 24th, and then approval of the claims submitted for payments processed through August 7th.
Move the approval of items 1A and B.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Duda, seconded by Commissioner Boyle. Please vote.
Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
All right, we have the consent agenda, items A through Q. If we can, is there any discussion, or we could have a vote? Yes, Commissioner Boyle.
I'd like to pull out item L. It's an appointment of a very accomplished person to the Extension Board, and I'd like them to have an opportunity to step up to the podium if we could.
And may I request item C?
I will be having to abstain on item C. Could be pulled.
Okay, we'll pull item C out, and Commissioner Boyle would like to have Gretchen Thomas.
L. Item L.
Yes. Now, you mentioned you wanted her to maybe come up.
Why, can they come now?
Great,
Great.
perfect.
Good morning. Please give your name and your address.
Good morning, Mr. Boyd. Gretchen Thomas, and my home address is 1122 Mayberry Plaza, downtown Omaha.
Great. Well, I just want to say a few words, and then
Thank
she can talk about, this is a long-awaited appointment to the Extension Board, and as you know, I warned Gretchen that, you know, I've been a critic, but I'm mellowing, trying to be nice, and so if she should hear anything about me there, don't worry about it. But Gretchen is a neighbor, and I visited with her, and she expressed an interest in serving on Extension. I said I was looking for someone around in the neighborhood possibly, and she said, I'd love it. And I said, this is perfect. That's what I need, the enthusiasm. And she's I don't get a chance to do this, but she's a wonderful neighbor, a very positive person, and we've discussed things like wildflowers. So she's going to be a terrific addition to the Extension Board, and I appreciate the support from the Extension Board, too. Gretchen, do you want to make a couple comments?
Mr. Boyle, I just say thank you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Great.
I think
Thank you.
it'll be very interesting, informative, and hopefully a little
Great.
fun.
Thanks a lot, Ms.
Thank you.
Thomas.
Gretchen, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I make a motion to, can I make a motion to approve that? Or is that out of order?
Well, we could approve all the items except for item C.
Okay, that sounds good.
Commissioner Duda has asked to hold.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just have some informational questions on a few of these items. We have items G and H, which are, looks like companion resolutions. Is there someone here that could walk us through G and H relative to the Community-Based Juvenile Services Act? G seems to have a grant from the state of $177,000 with a match by the county of $19,000 for a total of $196,000. And then from the same source, apparently, in H, there's a state grant of $1.6 million with a county match of $182,000 for $1.8 million. And is there someone here that can kind of walk us through? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rich Mersick. I'm the grant specialist for this one. This is a split award this year. What happened was there's unawarded funds from 2017 that represents the 2017 portion of 177,000 from the state, and the rest of it, 1.6 million, is what we applied for the year. There's a total of 1.815 million, but it's a split award this year because they had unused funds from 2017, and they just want to make sure it gets accounted for. So there's two numbers associated with the total award for the year.
Okay. So, did I hear you right, the 196 is on hand and the other is an application? Is that right?
The application was for 1.8 million, the two
Yes.
combined,
Yes.
but they wanted to utilize unspent money from 2017. So the total award that we applied for, we're receiving, just in two award numbers.
So these are applications for that 1.8?
Yes, correct.
Great, thank you. The other item that I have a question on is, I think there are two related ones regarding property casualty insurance, item I and item M. Item I, resolution to approve agreement with EMC Risk Services to serve as third-party administrator for the county's property casualty insurance program, $33,000. And item M, resolution approving the purchase of Douglas County liability insurance policies, $1,058,139.44. Is there someone, oh, there you are,
Right.
Daryl.
Go ahead,
Daryl
state your
Neely,
name.
Douglas County.
Okay, so the one I think I understand, which is a risk management person that oversees our risks, and that's been in place for some time. But on the second one, a property casualty liability insurance policy, is that a property casualty liability insurance policy on item M?
I don't have an item. They didn't have any agendas, so.
Oh, here, I've got it for you.
Okay, that's a renewal of our insurance policies, various policies, property casualty.
Okay. Aren't we, to some extent, self-insured on some of these items?
We're self-insured on the workers' compensation approved by the state, but we do have an excess carrier, kind of a stopgap if you like.
Right.
And then other policies, we have a higher retention
Higher retention meaning what?
or a higher deductible.
Oh, I see, okay. So these kick in if we exceed our self-insured amount at some point?
That's correct.
Is that correct? And the $1 million is a premium on this collection of policies?
That's correct.
Okay. And the carrier on this,
There's a variety of carriers.
okay? Alliant Insurance, Genesis Insurance, State Risk Retention Group, Federal Insurance, Safety National, and Lloyd's of London, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Boyle?
I was going to try to contribute quite a few years ago when I was the chair of the committee, and I can't even, I don't realize which one it was. Was it Administrative Services or Finance, whatever, Health and Human Services? But we did go to I started asking questions, why can't we self-insure? And so we did cut our premiums, and this is a result of that. We buy what we need to, and we self-insure, and then exactly what Daryl said. So it's working pretty well, but I understand when you have a $1 million item, questions.
Well, yeah, it's a big item.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got a little bit of background in insurance, so do I. So when we're spending that kind of money, you want to ask a couple of questions anyhow. Have we hit the deductible on any of these policies in recent years?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. And I'm not putting you on the spot here, but at some point I'd like to know, you know, kind of where we are. If we're paying a $1 million premium, have we exceeded our deductible in recent years by, you know, something comparable to that amount? So I'll get back to you on that.
And in that time frame, we've also added our exposures too.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks a lot.
okay.
Daryl, thank you.
Thanks, Daryl.
Okay, with that, if there aren't any other questions, we could have a motion to,
For the approval of the consent agenda, less item C.
do I have a second? Motion is made by Commissioner Duda, seconded by Commissioner Boyle. Please vote.
Motion passes, all present voting yes.
Okay, now we could take up item C for the approval of a special designated liquor license for Pocket Hills Volunteer Fire Department. And I understand Commissioner Duda will abstain because of his work there and a member of that volunteer fire department. So with that, do I have a motion to approve item C? Please vote. Motion made by Commissioner Boyle, seconded by Commissioner Borgeson.
Motion passes. Commissioner Duda abstained, all other commissioners voting yes.
Okay, we have some proclamations today, and the first one would be Commissioner Boyle concerning Mark Foxhall.
My computer's not talking to me, so can you pass that over?
Let me be sure I have the right one.
Is that it?
No. You know, I do not have.
Reminds me of the time that Dr. DeBakey was in Omaha, and there were two proclamations, one for the library, which had King Kong, and when I got to Creighton at the big Jesuit ceremony, I had the King Kong proclamation.
Do you have that one, Pastor? Thanks.
Okay, he thought it was funny. That's what I read. Okay, this is Mark here. Mark, come on down to the, kind of like the Price is Right. Come on down. Yeah. Yep. And we like your costume too. Whereas Dr. Mark Foxhall has served the Douglas County Department of Corrections for 18 years as Community Corrections Manager, Deputy Director, and Director of Corrections. And whereas Dr. Foxhall has announced his retirement from Douglas County effective August 3rd, 2018. And whereas Dr. Foxhall has overseen several significant infrastructure projects for the Department of Corrections, totaling nearly $20 million, including renovation and opening of the Criminal Justice Center, implementation of numerous technological advances and major jail renovations. And whereas Dr. Foxhall has spearheaded the development of programs and services that have enhanced public safety and improved people's lives, including community corrections for women, reentry services, GED, drug treatment, veteran services, vocational programs, 24/7 sobriety program and testing, treatment and education, and the implementation of evidence-based practices throughout the Department of Corrections. That's a terrific paragraph, really is. Whereas Dr. Foxhall has led and fostered interagency collaboration both locally and nationally, including partnering with county and city offices and departments for the efficient administration of justice and provision of services, developing relationships with public and private local and national funders to bring in millions of dollars in grants, and serving as a member of the American Jail Association's Board of Directors. And whereas Dr. Foxhall has always made the safety of his staff, inmates, and the public his top priority through the establishment of best practices and investment in staff training, equipment, and technology. And whereas Dr. Foxhall will be greatly missed by his coworkers and friends in Douglas County government. Now therefore be it resolved by this Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby extends its sincere appreciation to Dr. Mark Foxhall for his many years of exemplary service to the residents of Douglas County and further wishes him all the best in his future endeavors. Dated this 31st day of July, 2018. Motion. Good. Motion and a second. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioners. It feels strange to be up here without my board report in front of me, but this is my last appearance before you as a board, and I would like to thank all of you for the support, and the administrative staff for the support that you've lent towards the operation of the Department of Corrections. As you know, we are the largest correctional facility in the state. With the exception of the State Department of Corrections, we've got 4,500 or so inmates spread across 10 or so different facilities. Got 1,452 beds on the secure side and 214 on the criminal justice side. Um, uh, 18,000 bookings a year is a busy place. And in the 18 years that I've been here, I've seen a lot of different changes. The change in the inmate population, a change in the staff, a change in the infrastructure, a change in the brick and mortar. I remember when I started out that the single-family wood frame dwelling that was work release at 30th and Meredith Street. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come a long way from that location. Yes, and men only as well. And it's always been a goal to try to work with the internal stakeholders, work with the external stakeholders to provide a better environment for the staff, volunteers that come in, and the inmate population. And while there will always, in an environment like this, be work to do, I think we collectively have laid a good foundation for the next person that is to follow. So I sincerely want to thank you for the opportunities that you've provided me and some of my ideas and well, what do you think about this? And I think about my staff when I come back from national conferences, and they know what's coming. It's a long laundry list of, okay, this is what we're going to do next. And, you know, in order for those things to happen, you have to have a receptive environment, and you have to have people that really believe in the evolution of corrections. As I said, when you just accept the status quo, then you cease to be creative, you cease to innovate, and that's not good for the safety of the community. So I, again, thank you. I want to take this public opportunity to thank all the staff at the Department of Corrections. And as I've spoken to many times, you should, are, and can be very proud of the men and women of the Department of Corrections. Over 400 staff. They do a remarkable job in the face of some really difficult situations, tough work environment. But they come in, they toil, you walk through that facility, it's clean, you feel safe. And with all of the national visitors that come through, the local visitors that come through, state, regional, one thing they say, wow, the place is quiet, it's clean, it's orderly, and people are pleasant. Well, yeah, what did you expect? So, and again, that's the expectation, and it should be the expectation. When we begin to lose sight of that expectation, then we got more work to do. And as I said, corrections is an evolution. It has to continue to evolve. You can't rest on your laurels. There's always something else to do. And I think we have a lot of something else's on deck, coming to fruition soon. We've got a construction project, phase 2, that we need to get done. That's probably the next biggest thing to do. We have to get the facility in shape to prepare for the next 3 to 4 years. Again, I've talked about the population, and we're over 1,300 this morning. So not surprising given the time of the year, but we are over 1,300, and I think this phase 2 of this construction project will help forestall any new construction projects that have been floating around in the back of my head that I haven't really talked to about this. But because I know that is a concern, I think that drives a lot of the other programs that we have up and going or preparing to launch in terms of how do we divert people away from this place of incarceration. And we have many different plans, as I said, in progress, on deck, that I trust if they come to fruition like I think they will, that should be able to better manage our population. But that's something that we will certainly have to keep an eye on. You've been briefed, you've briefed collectively and briefed individually as to what those plans are. But it truly has been a challenge, really a great opportunity to work with a lot of good people in the community, staff, you folks, and I'll miss this place. I'll miss the staff.
miss my monthly reports and all the intriguing questions that come as a result of my report. And I really will. I really will. So thank you again, for your support. And all my best wishes to the continued success of the Department of Corrections and the staff.
Great.
Thank you, Mark. And we'll have a few comments here. Commissioner Boyle?
Well, I've had the privilege of being the commissioner. The way the operations work is that all of the departments, corrections, and whatever else they may be, there's 7 commissioners, and we split up and choose committees. And I've chosen this one for a couple of years, and so I'm the person that he talks with when something happens. Not that often, but we do have. In the last, I think, 10 days, we've had 3 assaults on our guards over there, and one was and all of them are suffering from mental illness, which is another big subject.
The inmates.
Yeah, inmate, right. And, excuse me. And so I've had the privilege of serving with Dr. Foxall, and he's a terrific leader. He's the kind of manager that walks around the facility and talks to people and inmates. He'll break in, I've been with him, and he'll break into Spanish, and you should see the place light up when he starts to speak Spanish to the inmates. He is a very caring person, and his personality just spills over into the facility. The people that he's surrounded with and that he's brought up in the facility and the staff has an attitude of respect toward the inmates, the people who are there, realizing that they really depend on their health care. Everything they need is controlled. So anyway, it's an attitude of respect which really permeates because of his attitude. So I want to thank you very much for your leadership and wish you well. You're continuing now. You're going to be teaching relatively full-time at UNO.
Yes.
Starting in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. You'll enjoy that. And he'll get a chance to talk for 3 hours straight.
Which I love to do.
Commissioner Carratt?
Yes, we are very proud of you. And I know your staff is, and your ability to work with all of the many facets of community corrections. You know, your introduction, your first few minutes of your talk, we should capture that, and we should use that as the introduction to a new class of recruits. Every class of recruits should see what you just said about the respect, the quiet, the other attributes that we strive for. By the way, if you miss this place, will he maintain his security clearance to go?
I revoked it a month ago.
You're welcome to visit us, hopefully on the correct side of the bars.
They handed me a visitor's badge yesterday when I came in.
Did they
the
really?
Jokes have started already.
Okay. Okay. I don't think we could be more proud of any director of corrections. And we know that headhunters had been looking for you. And I'm glad to see you're still here with your head on. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Kraft. Commissioner Duda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dr. Foxall, you have raised the bar. I like your reference to the jail as an evolution, because I have been able to watch the evolution. And I'm not just a fan of you. Bob Houston, I think, helped lay the way
Sure did.
as a part of this evolution of a better way to run a jail based on respect. And you've raised the bar. You will leave your mark. The jail is a better place because of you, and I thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Anyone else wanting to make a comment? Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Dr. Foxall, kudos on a very successful 18-year career, and thank you for your contribution to making Douglas County Corrections really one of the best in the country. It wouldn't have happened without you, and one man makes a difference, and you're that man as far as our corrections department goes. So on behalf of all of Douglas County, thank you. In your future efforts, we wish you the very best. I noted that your predecessor, Mr. Houston, who Commissioner Duda just referenced, and yourself, and I, and Clerk Esch all share the same alma mater, and I'm loath to bring that up, but I'm just pointing out that the tradition of excellence that you were schooled in, Creighton Preparatory School, has served you well these many years, and so all the Blue Jays are very proud of you as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Borges?
Well, Mark, not only do I want to thank you for your service, but to thank you for your friendship and your counsel and advice and being there anytime I was at a national conference and picked up the phone and said, hey, what about this? And going to numerous meetings with folks to see what we could do better or bring to the facility. I give you great kudos for getting our staffing where it needs to be.
Yes, ma'am.
In a very short period of time. We worked hard at that,
Yes, we did.
and we're just about there, and that's huge. The mental health issue is near and dear to my heart. You've been at the table with our Stepping Up initiative that we're involved in with Region 6 and the National Association. Still lots of work to do with that, but we've made progress. We're going to recognize one of the programs today that is over at Corrections. And you've just done a bang-up job. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and thank you for your service and your friendship.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I would say that Amber and I just spoke to the latest new hire class of 20 men and women, started at 7 o'clock this morning, and very eager and ready to learn, and we'll graduate them in 6 weeks, and right behind them, my stretch goal, well, I can say my stretch goals, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So stretch goal is 30 for September 17th. In fact, I know the training staff is under a lot of pressure to run these back-to-back classes. I said, we've got to take another shot. Keep our foot on the gas. So 25 to 30 September 17th. But that class just started this morning, 20 individuals. As I said, they're eager and ready to go. And by the way, I know you wanted to walk through the facility before I'm out. So if you're available today, the facility is ready to receive you.
And I think just lastly that I want to reiterate what Commissioner Boyle was talking about in terms of the environment. Our folks that are incarcerated, yes, there are some bad people, but there's a lot of people who just did either a dumb or bad thing, but are still good people. And we need to continue to provide those programs and services to try to help them get their lives turned around. And you've been able to put all those pieces in place for us to do that. One of the units that I'm most proud of is our veteran unit.
Yes.
And that, I would encourage all of you to go over in the morning when they first get up and watch their routine. You will not leave there without a tear in your eye, because it's that emotional. And I give you, again, kudos for building that. But, again, our incarcerated folks are there because of something they did, but we're there to help them get their feet on the right track. So thank you.
That's correct. Thank you.
Mark, some of us attended that graduation class in this room on Friday afternoon, and it was great to hear the comments, Rocky and all of the team that you have built there, and then the new recruits that are coming on that are excellent. It was good to hear their history and introduction. And I just want to thank you for the 18 years. And I also want to thank your parents for the great job they've done in mentoring and being role models for you. And I know they're very, very proud of the person you are and the respect you show for all people. And that's what's so important as we seek that new person to lead that correction facility, which is one of the most important things that we do here to make certain that we're doing the best we can there. And you've done that so excellently. So I thank you so much for your service. I'm sad to see you leave, but I respect your leaving and that new venture that you're going to do, and I know you'll do a great job there at UNO. So again, just thanks for the service and what you gave all of us that we can be so proud of. So wish you again the best. Mike has a resolution. We'd like you to come up, even though, yeah, we could go around in front. Maybe, we should vote, make sure it does pass. So with that, do we have a motion?
We do have a motion and a second. Just need to vote.
Okay.
So,
Please vote.
motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Okay, we have another resolution concerning Holy Cross and their service. Let me read this proclamation. I'm not sure if anyone's here from Holy Cross, but
Oh, yeah, that's a bunch.
great. You can come on down if you want in case there's some questions. I asked Gene Hardnett to maybe put this together for their fine work. I did receive my first communion at Holy Cross a long, long time ago, but what a great church you have there and school. Whereas Douglas County, Nebraska is the owner and operator of the Douglas County Health Center and the Community Mental Health Facility, provides quality long-term care and short-term rehabilitation to the residents of Douglas County through the DCHC, and provide behavioral health care services to the residents of Douglas County through CMHC. Whereas Holy Cross Church sponsors a July 4th event on the Douglas County Health Center campus each year, whereas this event includes food activities for residents, families, and all the staff, and it is a greatest American tradition of communities coming together to celebrate July 4th. And whereas the Board of Douglas County Commissioners is grateful to the parishioners from Holy Cross who sponsor this event each year and dedicate their time on a holiday to ensure the residents' families, and the Douglas County Health Center staff are able to celebrate Independence Day, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Douglas County Commissioners that the Board hereby expresses its sincere appreciation and thanks to Holy Cross Church for their dedicated community service to the residents and staff of the Douglas County Health Center, dated the 31st of July, 2018. Again, we thank you so much for what you provide, and if you'd like to state your names and make any comments, we just really appreciate what you do each year and have continued to do quietly for the residents and our staff. Is there anything anyone would like to say?
Teresa McLowry, I'm the pastoral minister at Holy Cross. Years ago, we started this because I asked Field Club and Morton Meadows if they could kind of come up and do a parade there, but they weren't able to, so we decided to do it. I think it's going on our 13th year, but we do it for them, and we need to share this award, this resolution, this proclamation with them. Incredible staff, incredible residents. It's just a joy to serve them, so thank you.
Okay, Marianne?
Well, I grew up in Holy Cross, and my parents actually still attend Holy Cross, and everybody's wonderful. But Teresa, I know you personally, and the huge heart that you have for our residents and our facility. I can't thank you enough. I mean, you all have done amazing things, not just with this event as the 4th of July, but throughout the year. You guys are there volunteering to do whatever it is we kind of pick up the phone and ask you to do, and you're kind of the ringleader. We so appreciate it, because county government, any government, does not function unless we have good volunteers. And you definitely are an example of that, all of you, and we appreciate that, and the whole parish of what they do for our residents. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, let's see, we've got Mike.
Yeah.
Did you?
Go ahead.
I think.
Yeah, I just want to briefly say that you're doing exactly what parish is supposed to be doing. You know, you don't just go to Mass and that sort of thing and hang out in church and ignore what's going on around you. And what you have done is you have shown and you've set really a very high standard for all of us to look around our neighborhood, see what we can do to carry our message of faith and social justice and so forth to the neighborhood. And it is, your parish is really terrific. And I had a lot of fun with, I'm trying to think of his name, it's so long ago, McDonald or O'Donnell?
O'Donnell.
Oh my God. I have to tell you that as election commissioner, we once, he had a brother who was one of the big officials in the election thing. And as a prank, we stamped Monsignor O'Donnell's registration is canceled. He couldn't vote. And he went in to vote, and a lot of parishioners are there, and sorry, you're not registered to vote, and embarrassed him in front of all these people, and just gave him a real hard time. And let me just say, I paid dearly for that. But anyway, wonderful parish. As I said, you extend your religious beliefs and your sense of charity beyond the boundaries, and you really do. And it's always great. People ask about the area you are, and it's either Morton Meadows or Holy Cross. When you say Holy Cross, everybody knows what we're talking about. So you've set a high standard. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Commissioner Duda.
Well, thank you from the health center's perspective. I happen to believe that the Douglas County Health Center is a fabulous gem that the world doesn't know a whole lot about, and that everybody in the county should be tremendously proud of if we knew more about it. But you're part of what makes it so great. I mean, we have every year at the volunteer appreciation lunch. You're there in mass. I mean, I'm surprised it's only 13 years that you've been there. I would have guessed a lot longer than that. For the picnic, okay, because you've been around as long as I can remember. You've been a wonderfully supportive congregation. You are part of what makes the health center so great, and I thank you for it.
Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Thank you. And Teresa, thank you for coming down, and the other Holy Cross parishioners. Kudos to the parish as a Holy Crosser with two daughters who graduated from Holy Cross School. I'm very proud of the great job that you do. And I'm particularly touched by the work that you do at the Douglas County Health Center's Kavanaugh Care Center. You personally, Teresa, I know because I've been there with you, live the corporal work of mercy, visit the sick, and living your faith, I think, is impressive to all of us and a real inspiration. I'd like you to relay our admiration and appreciation to Father Salanitro, too, who, as a successor to Monsignor O'Donnell, has done a great job with a truly great parish, and keep it up. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. I know that my brother Tom, when he was here as a Holy Cross parishioner, participated in these things, and it meant a lot to him and all of us. And as a Kavanaugh, I think there's still a Kavanaugh in Holy Cross School. We still have one, I think, in 8th grade this year. I can't tell you how much I admire the work that the Holy Cross Parish does, and you're a living example of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, with that, do we have a motion by Commissioner Borgeson, seconded by Commissioner Kraft? Please vote.
Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Yeah. Okay, we have a couple other resolutions, and I turn it over to Mary Ann Borgeson concerning a nice achievement award.
Thank you, Mr.
Commissioner
Chair.
Borgeson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would ask if any of the folks that are here from the co-occurring intensive outpatient program to come forward, please.
Sorry you're not here, Sherry, on a happy Monday.
Happy Tuesday, that's right. Well, I'm honored to read this resolution for recognizing the work of a couple of our departments and staff. Whereas the National Association of Counties each year presents its achievement awards to counties across the country with innovative county government programs, and whereas this year Douglas County's co-occurring intensive outpatient program received a NACO Achievement Award in the Criminal Justice and Public Safety category, highlighting its significant impact in the county by reducing recidivism and keeping people with co-occurring disorders from returning to jail. And whereas the co-occurring intensive outpatient program is administered by Douglas County Community Mental Health Center, and it's embedded in the Douglas County Corrections Reentry Assistance Programming. The program helps incarcerated individuals who have an identified co-occurring diagnosis, substance use disorder, and a mental health disorder. And whereas the goal of this program is to provide treatment while the participants are incarcerated and abstaining from the use of chemicals, which in turn reduces the recidivism rate of those who complete the program. The program consists of a 10-week treatment component by duly credentialed and licensed therapists and case management services provided for a period of 6 months upon completion of the treatment program. And whereas this program is a perfect example of county government being responsive to the needs in the community, as it allows people to treat their diseases and provides access to services they likely would not receive on their own. And whereas since its commencement in June 2015 and through February 2018, the co-occurring intensive outpatient program has had 261 clients accepted into the program and 129 graduates. As of February 2018, 99 clients have completed their 6 months of post-release case management service, with 88 of these individuals having picked up no new charges during those 6 months post-release. This is an 88% success rate for recidivism while still in services. Now therefore be it resolved by this Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby recognizes Douglas County's co-occurring intensive outpatient program for receiving a 2018 NACO Achievement Award and making a significant impact in Douglas County by providing to many who have suffered for years that a sober, healthy life is possible. Dated this 31st day of July, 2018. Would move for approval? So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Boyle, seconded by Commissioner Kraft to approve that resolution. And
if I could, really, this is a very big honor. I mean, you guys just go about doing your work because that's what you're here to do. But to be recognized on a national level for this program is a big deal, and I give you kudos for that. I know that the staff has presented a number of times in different places, and my goodness, their hearts and soul are in this program, and the stats show it. I mean, they're not just there to provide the service. They absolutely care about the individuals in which they're working with. And that comes from good leadership. That comes from leadership that changes that environment for treating individuals, being where they are at, and helping them through. And so I give you the greatest kudos. This really is an honor to read the resolution, but an honor to see that you received recognition that you also deserve. So thank you.
any other comments? If not, we have the motion. Commissioner Kraft.
You know we're all proud of you.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and call for the vote?
Yep, please vote. Right. Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Again, thank you all very much. Sure, if you have it, that we have a resolution. Chris, you do have it there?
Huh? Okay, go ahead. Well, this is another one that I'm honored to read. Whereas, is anybody here from .com? Okay. Whereas the Center for Digital Government and the National Association of Counties recently announced the winners of the 15th Anniversary Digital Counties Survey. And whereas the survey conducted by CDG in partnership with NACO identifies the best technology practices among U.S. counties, including initiatives that streamline delivery of government services, encourages open data, collaboration, and shared services, enhance cybersecurity, and contribute to disaster response and recovery efforts. And whereas Douglas County, Nebraska placed in the top 10 among counties in its population group, highlighting the county's ability to keep up with the latest technology trends and its long-term focus to embrace and implement new technologies. And whereas some of Douglas County's improvements to technology include the use of the Amazon Web Services platform for its websites and upgrades to various technologies to benefit the residents of the county. Now therefore be it resolved by this Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby recognizes Douglas County for receiving this national recognition for its innovative technology practices and long-term efforts to embrace and implement new technologies. With that, I would ask, or move motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Boyle and seconded by Commissioner Borgeson. If you'd please vote at this time.
Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Okay, at this time, we have citizen comments. This is an opportunity for members of the audience to be heard at this time for a maximum of 5 minutes on any topic not on the agenda as it relates to the governance of Douglas County. However, under the open meetings law, the agenda items should give notice on the matters to be considered by the board so that the public will know which matters are under consideration. As a result, the board will not debate or take action. And Teresa, you have expressed to us before that we should not comment on any matters that come before us at this time. Is that correct?
Teresa, York County Attorney's Office. Yes, that is accurate. In order to be in compliance with the Open Meetings Act, the public is entitled to reasonable notice about agenda items, and there is no reasonable notice with regards to a topic brought under citizen comments, and so the board should not engage in debate or take action on any item presented.
So if there are any individuals that want to come before the board, this is the time to do it. Just state your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Dewan Lamont Hayes, 2618 Parker Street, 68111. I am a local journalist as well as a neighborhood organizer, and I'm part of the steering committee for NeighborFest. One Omaha, if you're familiar, has coordinated myself with a number of other neighborhood leaders across the city to put together a neighborhood festival with the theme being activating people, places, and spaces. So this festival to take place on September 2nd, starting at 1 p.m. on 24th and Burdett Streets in North Omaha, is focused on activating people, places, and spaces. So engaging individuals and community members to reignite the fire behind neighborhood associations and participation in placemaking and how we as individuals can take the future of our neighborhoods in our own hands. So Omaha's 136 active neighborhood associations need more opportunities for engagement, learning, and inspiration. And building on momentum from Neighborhoods USA, the NUSA conference in 2017, Omaha NeighborFest is a community-driven event aimed to build neighborhood association leaders' capacity, increase community-based volunteerism, and strengthen grassroots community development initiatives in all of Omaha's neighborhoods. The focus area of the 24th Street corridor in 2018 is significant because of the historical significance that the corridor has played, having served as a creative and economic catalyst for Omaha's African-American community and a site of civil unrest against segregationist laws and policies. Today, the Street of Dreams is seeing positive revitalization of business, arts, and culture led by community members. So I wanted to come and extend a personal invitation to all of our county commissioners and our city here today to attend NeighborFest on September 2nd. It's a Sunday. There'll be music, as well as get out the vote efforts and an opportunity for the community to come together and see what we can do together.
Well, thank you. And what time will that start?
It starts at 1 and it runs until 6.
Okay.
So we plan to close off 24th Street starting about 3. After church, we want to make sure everyone can come through.
Where's the cross street of 24th?
24th and Burdett Street.
Burdett.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments by any commissioners?
Mm-hmm.
I meant
and we'll make sure you get an email with all the updates in your boxes as well.
I just thought you might have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Getting it on my calendar.
Awesome. I'll have a great day.
You too.
Any other citizen comments?
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Smith, 6516 Emmett Street. I imagine as commissioners, you have taken a great amount of dedication to our community. And you've also been today commending those people who also have participated in making a better county. And I understand that it's very complicated in planning for the future and planning for the support that we really need. But I believe that with our juvenile justice system that we have gotten off track. The people of Douglas County feel chaos. They don't understand any of the decisions that have been made. And as we have seen in the Omaha World Herald editorial of July 29th, you are in a position right now to either continue to erode the trust of the public, or we can make a recovery here. You can, even though we are failing in the short term here to engage people, we have an opportunity to fix this. We have an opportunity to slow down the process, to engage people in public conversations. You can explain to us your rationale, your reasoning. You can listen to the people's concerns and our ideas, and also develop out alternatives, thereby regaining trust. Today, you've commended people for their contributions to the community, and you have the opportunity to take the momentum generated by those same types of people into improving this process with the Juvenile Justice Center. You can develop a pool of residents who want to make the community stronger. And I know this because last night I held a public meeting at UNO's Community Engagement Center, and we had over 60 people show up. People want to be involved, they want to know the issues, they want to know the rationale, they want to know what is happening in their own community by their elected representatives. And as reflected in the Omaha World Herald editorial, we do not. We do not understand why we are reducing by half the number of available beds. We do not understand why we are tearing down a historic building. We do not understand why we are supposed to pay $120 million as taxpayers without any sort of voice or vote. We do not understand the seeming need for speed as we are pushing this through in a course of several months. We've had, the public's been aware of this for 2 whole months. And we have, as of this point, had no real explanation from the county commissioners on why this course of decisions were made. We don't have any sort of understanding. And so when you have a lack of communication, a lack of understanding, it develops mistrust, it develops suspicion, and at the end we lose our faith in the county commissioners and in the system. I have a letter here that I have drafted since last night, including all the questions and concerns, ideas, and suggestions from the people who showed up last night and took their own time to contribute to the community, to learn what's going on, to understand how we decided certain things. And a lot of the questions came up that we really just don't have an understanding of how and I'm not going to point this out to disparage Ms. Borgensen, but people don't understand how you can serve on the building commission, request a study. You can bring that, or give that study here before the commission and approve initiatives that include then your oversight on the next board, which you then approved at the building level, and then also serve on the board of the 501c3 that's supposed to manage this without any sort of public oversight and public meetings. There are questions as to how we determined that this particular building site is the only viable site. We saw in the Omaha Performing Arts debacle of several years ago that when private citizens come together, our so-called Gang of Five with Restoration Exchange Omaha, is that those people within 90 minutes were able to craft a solution that did not require eminent domain, did not require acquisition and demolition of historic buildings, and provided Omaha Performing Arts, in this particular case, more than adequate space for programming, parking, and all the other things that they needed. You've demonstrated today that you already understand that people of the community have something to contribute. What we're looking for right now is a request that you withdraw your support for the current Juvenile Justice Center as has been proposed and its management by a private 501c3 with no public oversight. As representative of the people who showed up last night, we deserve better because we are stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Sorry.
you give me a call. Thanks.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kavanaugh.
First of all, thanks for taking time out of your day to come and speak to us. And I appreciate the points that you're making. We, I think, taking time and due deliberation and listening to the taxpayers who we work for, can come up with a better, less expensive, more common sense proposal than the $120 million tax increase that hasn't had any real discussion. So in the hope that we can have a public, transparent discussion of this important issue, and I think probably a vote of the people at the end of the day on its merits, I've been holding a series of hearings, and I think you may be aware of these, to air this issue. These are the only public hearings that have really been held on this. The next one will be this Thursday at 1 p.m. here at the Legislative Center, and we urge you and all other interested citizens to come forward at that time.
I'd like you to wrap it up, Commissioner
Yeah.
Kavanaugh.
I think
Okay,
we
we're not
talked
supposed to
about other
respond.
things. We can talk about a $120 million tax increase.
Yeah,
in a
you
second.
can, but at this time, per the county attorney's office, we're not supposed to comment. You could ask a question.
There were comments on the previous one, Commissioner.
You can ask a question.
You just don't want comments on this particular project, is that it?
This is a board policy. It's not just
Well,
my policy.
The county attorney said there was a debate prohibition. I'm not debating. I'm commenting on what Mr. Smith had to say on a very important public project. But we have a hearing set for Thursday, August 2nd at 1 p.m. here to discuss aspects of the proposal and alternatives to it. And I'm glad that you brought some of those alternatives with you that were a product of the citizen input at your meeting last night. So thank you very much, and we urge citizens to step up and be heard on this issue. And I think at the end of the day, we deserve to give the people a right to vote on this. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Okay, with that, there aren't any present. Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Jack Dunn, D-U-N-N, 1214 North 34th Street, 68131. I am a researcher with Policy Research and Innovation, and we have been dealing with the issue of juvenile detention since at least 2014, when FSG was brought into town, with the stated purpose of improving juvenile treatment in the county. At that time, we requested that the county board provide adequate oversight to the proceedings that FSG was doing. I'm not convinced that that has actually happened. And I would like to ride on Mr. Smith's coattails and talk about the same kinds of issues. I do not have anything prepared. I don't have a statement prepared. I apologize for that. I found out about the meeting last night and just haven't had time to take care of that. There are two issues that I think need to be addressed and that I will be referring to my board. The one issue, of course, is the building, which I think is a serious consideration, enough to warrant a editorial in the local newspaper. And I believe that public hearings are in order for any effort of the size of this one, $120 million. The other issue, of course, is the kerfluffle between one of the county board members and Levon Stennis from OYS, which I think also needs to be addressed. It's unclear that there is adequate supervision of that particular facet of county governance. I will be referring these issues to my board, and we'll find out to what extent we can participate in researching these issues and bringing them further to public attention. And I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Dunn.
How's it going? My name is Tyler Wilson, and I'm a resident of Douglas County. Due to my places of employment, I would rather not state my address as I deal with legal offenders in the justice system. I'm here to talk about the $120 million Juvenile Justice Center that all of you, except for Mr. Kavanaugh, because he voted no, to building. My issue here is, who is telling you to build this? Is it your constituents, or is it the people that backed your campaigns and funded things? If your constituents are telling you vote no on a matter, why are you still voting yes? The other issue that I have is this proposed facility will house 48 beds for legal offenders, and the current facility has an average capacity of 77. The issue here is 48 beds doesn't fit 77 people. And last time I checked, you can't house 2 inmates in the same bed, so how's this going to work? The solution to that is you're going to then farm them out and send them to other counties to be housed. The average cost of that is $95 per day per inmate. So if you have 77 inmates and 48 beds and you send them to other facilities and you pay the $95 a day, that's a bill of over $1 million per year that you are just literally throwing away to other county facilities to house these guys. But we're going to build a $120 million glass box in the middle of downtown because why not? It's ridiculous. If your constituents are telling you don't vote on this matter, don't vote on this matter. If they're telling you vote no, because last time I checked, all of you are elected officials. All of you were voted for by the people to serve in the capacity of a county commissioner. If the people that voted you in the office tell you don't vote on this matter, why would you still vote on it? Because last time I checked, as a politician, you want to be reelected, right? You don't want to lose your salary. You don't want to lose your place. So why take all of your constituents and say, I don't care about your opinion, I'm going to do what I want? That's the issue I'm running into. The other thing is, Ms. Borgensen, how can you serve on the board? You also serve on the building commission, and you also are on the 501c3 that oversees this. The other thing, last time I knew, this $120 million is funded by public dollars, not private. So if my taxes are going to increase by paying a $120 million bill, why do I as a person not get a vote? Why is this not on the November ballot? Why is it not said to all the residents of Douglas County, here, this is what we're presenting, vote on it, tell us what you think? Why is that not the case? So I know you can't make any comments or questions or whatever, which is kind of ridiculous considering it's a public forum, but whatever. Do not vote for this juvenile justice center unless you're going to take that $120 million and split it 7 ways and each of you are going to pay for it, but then by all means, go for it. But until then, when it's still coming out of my wallet, I don't want this. And I'm pretty sure your constituents don't want it either. So I'm asking you, vote no to this juvenile justice center. It's a $120 million price tag that doesn't need to be there. For $120 million, I can go to the current facility and renovate it with some 5-star accommodations for $120 million. Renovate the current one, take an existing office building that's vacant in downtown, renovate it, make it your offices for your courts and your attorneys. Why do we need to demolish this building and close off an entire city block? Last time we closed off a city block and stuck a hotel on it, it really didn't go well. So why close another city block and put a jail on top of it? It doesn't make sense. Just vote no to this juvenile justice center. That's all I ask. As a constituent, vote no to the juvenile justice center. Plain and simple. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I just have a comment. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for bringing these important points to the board. And thanks for taking time out of your day to do it. I imagine you have other things you could be doing right now. You're a good citizen for doing this. You raised some great points. I would hope that you would come to the meeting on Thursday at 1 p.m. And talk about those as well. You're absolutely right on a number of these. Certainly it's public money. The public has every right to speak on this and be heard on this, and we have every duty to engage in a dialogue with the public relative to ideas and proposals going forward. And it's a constitutional right of Americans to have a vote.
Right.
So I think you're right in all of those regards, and I look forward to working with you and all the citizens to come up with a better solution. I think we can do a better thing, better, cheaper, more common sense. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Before Commissioner Duda speaks, I just want to clarify one point. It's been stated that Commissioner Borgeson is a member of the Building Commission. She is not a member. That's the only comment I want to make, just because that's important to note. She is not a member of the Building Commission, nor has she been in recent years or maybe ever.
For the record, she is serving on 503, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Commissioner Duda.
You made the point I did, that Commissioner Borgeson has never served on the Building Commission. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Commissioner Duda.
Could I state one other thing?
Yes.
Okay. I really find it ironic that when Commissioner Kavanaugh was speaking on Mr. Smith's behalf, you were real jumpy to shut him down because the county attorney told you not to speak. But then when I speak, it's okay for you and Mr. Duda to speak.
Sir.
I know. I just find that
you made.
I just find it kind of humorous that you all want to shut this down so hard, and you want it so behind closed doors.
I wanted to clarify a point to the public. That was all it was about.
I know.
And that's it. Yes, Commissioner.
Well, I have your card, and I'm going to be, as I said, I'll be calling both of you, and we'll visit about this.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm not bothered by the public comment, but there are some things that we have different points of view, and I hope to show you why I support this.
Okay.
You deserve answers, and I'll try to do my best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning. My name
Good
is
morning.
Jared. Excuse me. Good morning. My name is Jared Alexander. I live at 2202 South 40th. My wife and I just recently purchased that home and moved here to Omaha. I just wanted to, I guess, add my voice to the opposition for this new juvenile detention center. Having read the CHIN planning report, the numbers simply don't bear out the need or justification for it. While I do admit and agree that there are improvements that can and should be made to the system, this plan, the current one just comes across as ham-fisted, rushed, and again, without public input, poorly conceived. And again, just wanted to add my voice to this issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jared.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Terrell McKinney. I reside at 4948 Spalding Street. I came here a few months ago to address my concerns for the Operation Youth Success and the lack of community engagement. Since then, it has become ever more evident that juvenile justice reform isn't the primary concern of OYS. Young black males are still being failed by the system at a higher rate than other groups. Our kids are being oppressed from every angle, from the Omaha Police Department to Operation Youth Success. Our good friends in the House don't seem to care about our boys in the field. Instead of diluting data to get reelected and to receive more funding, it's imperative that our leaders take action to fix these mistakes. There is a complete lack of transparency and accountability within Operation Youth Success. Our kids need real reform, not a $120 million building that doesn't have a clear mission or values. Spend that money on the root causes, not a multi-million-dollar Band-Aid. OIS should be the place to address high-risk youth. I believe that if a Elected officials can't properly serve their community and respect our women. They should step down and not give half-hearted apologies. 2020 isn't far away if you want to get reelected. Hiding behind public and private relationships won't shield OIS from the people. We will be here more often since we don't seem to matter. Hopefully in the near future, legislation is passed to reform the allocation of community-based aid and philanthropy in underserved communities. One or two entities shouldn't have so much control. Our leaders are becoming more and more voiceless by the day. Change has always come from the people, not rooms filled with system people who are just working to get a paycheck and have never experienced the issues that our kids face every day. If you want change, reach out to grassroots organizations already doing the work in our communities. You should empower those organizations, not your network of friends and gatekeepers. If these issues can't be fixed, Operation Youth Success should be investigated and disbanded. All power to the people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, is there anyone else?
Hi, my name is Gwen Easter. I live at 2895 Benny Street. I'm the founder of Safe Haven Community Center, and I understand that the city would also like to have a new building. But before you consider building a new building, I would like to ask you all to also discontinue Operation Youth Success. It's not a success. Our tax dollars could be used better to serve the juvenile justice reform. I've attended the OIS steering committee meetings for the past 3 years on and off, and I have observed that the Operation Youth Success initiative to reform juvenile justice system is not working. There has been little to no changes with this reform, and due to the issues that are ongoing in our community, we need to see the real change. These private partnerships are not benefiting our children, and I would like to ask that the Douglas County oversee this operation, that we can have successful reform. Our organizations in our community would like to help our juveniles, but a lot of us are not brought to the table. Like they say, they pick and choose. Funding was given out to a nonprofit organization, Empowerment Network. It's not that I was against them having funding, but it's the way that the process was done that was unfair to other organizations. And a lot of this goes on. I mean, they have work groups or white-run organizations that come into our community. They duplicate our programs and our services, and then they don't want to bring us to the table. When there are more minorities that are in the judicial system. And I'm not saying that white people who can't help, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it's unfair that this happens all the time. And unless you are someone like Empowerment Network or Urban League, they don't all represent North Omaha. There are others that are trying to help also. And so because Operation Youth Success seems to only listen to Sherwood Foundation or, which seems to be running our school system, our, juvenile system, I mean, something needs to be done about all of this. And so I would like you all to investigate it, consider our request, and maybe hold off on the building or find a different way to use the funding. I think we all should be working together, and it's not just minorities that are problems. There's problems all across our state, but North Omaha seems to be always the target. We need to help all children, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Gina Miller, and I'm a resident of Douglas County, and I'm a taxpayer and a mother of 2 teenagers. I am a community advocate and passionate about parental rights, education, and juvenile justice issues. First, I'd like to take just a quick moment to thank Dr. Foxall for his amazing leadership and service to our community. He's been a great a leader to us, and I'm sad to see him leave. Just wanted to throw that in there since it was today. I come here today to once again raise concerns regarding transparency, oversight, accountability, and effectiveness of Operation Youth Success. I have been attending OIS meetings and bringing concerns to you for a number of years now. I would like to share with you my public comments that I shared at the June OIS meeting. I came prepared to speak, so this was my prepared comments. I came prepared today to speak about the uptick in youth violence, but there has been a lot that has happened at this meeting I may need to include in my remarks. Every time I come before OIS, I feel that I need to share its mission for everyone to refocus. For my comments today, I will only focus on a portion of that. Operation Youth Success is bringing people together to decide what aspects of juvenile justice in Douglas County need to change and how that change will happen. Across Douglas County, our vision is a comprehensive, coordinated, community-wide approach to juvenile services that eliminates the need for youth involvement in our justice system while maintaining public safety. For all youth who do enter justice system, our goals are to provide effective, compassionate, individualized support that empowers youth, their families succeed, to build an environment of mutual trust and accountability. For now, I would like you to just pay close attention for the next few minutes. February 17th, 2018, homicide. 41st and Wirt. Days later, 14-year-old daughter charged with murder. February 25th, 2018, homicide. 2 victims were shot, both 17. 1 is killed. Taiwan Wells, 14, has been arrested for second-degree murder. April 17th, 2018, homicide. Kay Nelson, 21, killed at Walmart, Irvington. 2 arrests have been made. Dayon Nelson, 17, Marcus Wheeler, 19. May 12th, 18, shooting. Party for teens graduating was held and 4 victims, ages 17 to 21, were shot. None were life-threatening, no suspects. June 2nd, 2018, homicide. Multiple victims, 6 were shot and 1 fatally. 1 arrest has been made in connection to the incident, but not the actual homicide of Jasmine Harris. Suspect is 19 years old. June 12th, 2018, carjacking. 3 black male teens carjacked female from Emmanuel Hospital. Lead police on chase and crash near Boys and Girls Club. All were arrested. All in all, that makes 22 lives, all the young adults 14 to 21 that have had their lives changed by violent acts in the last 4 months. As a community, what are our answers? I am not sure if OIS is what it should be doing. Since that June meeting, the following has happened. July 29th shooting, 61st and James, 20-year-old male victim was at the party in May where multiple teens were shot, no arrests. July 28th shooting, 30th Ames, for time's sake I'm going to abbreviate. July 26th, 47-year-old male shot. July 25th, 37th and Y, 17-year-old male shot. July 21st shooting, 45th and Lafayette. Attempted carjacking at AMC Theaters at the West Roads. July 15th, 2 victims in shooting, 1 fatal. Homicide July 15th on 67th North 35th Street. Homicide July 4th, 35th and Jackson. Homicide June 25th, 5827 North 28th Avenue. It is my understanding for the past 3 months, a young man, 18 years old, has been hunted by rival gang, and he finally became a victim Sunday afternoon. He's currently fighting for his life. Where could he have turned? Who would have listened to him? Who would have made him feel safe to be able to talk to someone? We have programs in place, correct? But we have failed him. It just wasn't our problem. As July ends, it was a very violent month. School will start in just over 2 weeks. What is the value of our youth? Will the programs that we have built protect our children? During the June meeting, Commissioner Rogers stated that violent youth are not in the jurisdiction of OIS. Most of these youth have had contact at multiple points within our system, and we are failing. What is our next step? What is our solutions? Where is the problem? In addition to just that information,
Also at the May and June meetings, it was disclosed that $350,000 of community-based aid that Douglas County receives from the Crime Commission went unspent by the JAC. No one knew about it until the final weeks of the grant period, and it was pretty much unilaterally decided to distribute that money to one of two entities in Omaha that never applied for the money. We have a process in place to distribute that money, ladies and gentlemen. We need to follow that process. I don't know with what I just read how the JAC was not able to spend that kind of money on the teams that we have entered into our system. Thank you.
Thank you.
Luis Jimenez, 518 North 40th Street. Jasmine Harris died Sunday, June 3rd. Jasmine Harris was a graduate of Benson High School, and she died that Sunday morning from firearm violence. Woe is us, we're in a lot of trouble. So, a young woman of color with aspirations to move to Minnesota was shot to death. What does that have to do with the price of rice, right? Why is that woe to us? Because you people, and so many millions of other Americans, believe in capital. Because we are told to be patriots, pay your taxes, and die. Because capital is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. Capital can make or break presidents. Capital is the most awesome goddamn force in this whole godless world. And woe is us because it has fallen into the hands of the wrong people. And that's why woe is us that Jasmine Harris perished. Because the city pays $3.5 million a year to cover some of the debt of the University of Nebraska Medical Center. There's a Center for Reducing Health Disparities at UNMC College for Public Health with a graduate research assistant named Eric Meyer sitting there holding a certificate in public health and an MA in criminology. And when the city spends millions of dollars for infrastructure and institutions and not one dime in their operations and in firearm violence research, who knows where else public funds will be hustled into this godless world. Indeed, the capitalists have taken trillions of dollars out of this country, and now they must put it back in the hands of the proletariat, to the workers. It is ebb and flow, tidal gravity. There is a reason why monetary notes are called currencies. It is ecological balance. But nevertheless, we are told to think in terms of nations and peoples when there are no nations, when there are no peoples. There are no Russians, there are no Arabs, there is no third world, there is no West. There is only one holistic one system, one holistic system of system, one vast, interwoven, interacting, multivariate, multinational dominion of dollars. Petrodollars, electrodollars, multi-dollars, euros, Reich marks, rins, rubles, marks, yens, bucks, pounds, and bitcoins, and shekels. It is the international system of currency which determines the totality of life on this planet. That is the atomic and subatomic and galactic structure of things today. Am I getting through, you commissioners? We get up on our soapboxes and howl about America and democracy. There's no America. There's no democracy. There is only IBM and ITT and AT&T and Apple, Dow, Union Carbide, Microsoft, and Walmart. Those are the nations of the world today. The world is a college of corporations inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business, commissioners. It has been since man crawled out of the slime. And those with the finger on the trigger have the moral authority to execute divine justice. At least, that's what the capitalists would have us believe. But man, you won't get any truth from the capitalists. They'll lie like hell and tell us it's speculation. They'll say there are no funds and that it's too late for a proposal to be included in the budget, and that a proposal should be brought up next year. All three reasons at once. But those reasons were said last year, and they will be repeated next year, because now is not the time. So you listen to me. We shouldn't be working for wealth. Wealth should be working for us. Go to the city government. Tell them it's time to fund firearm violence research. Share the cost, which is simply to pay the salaries of scientists at the Center of Reducing Health Disparities who will need to work with the Sheriff's Department and the Omaha Police Department to acquire the raw data needed to perform firearm violence research, because the researchers are the only ones who know what questions to ask and what to look for in the data. And since I have 40 seconds, I just want to say that I appreciate your guys' concern with the Open Meetings Act. However, I find it odd that it would be interpreted to shut up the commissioners. The county attorney, by law, is required to enforce the open meetings laws in their jurisdiction. So I would recommend that you take your fine interpretation of the law and apply it to the Omaha city government, where their committees are close to the public.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello,
Morning.
I'm
Good
Norma
morning.
LeClaire from Bellevue, Nebraska. If I can make a comment, I read your papers. We come into Omaha a lot. We really appreciate coming downtown, seeing the history, visiting the old buildings. We've seen a lot of nice historic buildings come tumbling down since we settled here in 1965 through military retirement. And I went to a meeting last week just to get acquainted and listen, my first time getting my feet wet with government. But I heard them say that they had capacity for up to 144 beds at the facility that they now have for the juveniles. And it just seems like with 120 million, you could be paying a salary for somebody to work with mental health and open up some of those beds that are now not being utilized. And I see that, I hear it, even in my own community. If those children go into that justice, I would much rather see them in a 2-level campus setting than have them downtown on 6 floors looking out at no grass at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I don't see anyone else. All right, we have a public hearing. I don't think that we have any presentations today, but there is a public hearing for Silicious. Mr. Mumgard is here on that. Appreciate you being here this morning for this public hearing concerning liquor license, 1529 South 203rd Street.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm Jim Mumgard, one of the principals of Zelicious LLC.
I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Chair, just to, we need to open the public meeting.
Okay,
So,
public
all right.
meeting is open.
All right. Pardon me, thank you.
We're good. This is Rachel Van Buskirk, who will be the general manager of West End, and we're just here if there's any questions.
Are there any questions by any of the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Boyle.
I live on 10th Street. How in the world do I get there? No, I'm kidding.
We'll call you an Uber, yeah.
Ah, you're right.
Lower that
Thank you.
liability.
I wish you a lot of luck. This, Mr. Mumgard is part of a really terrific family. It really stands out in our community, and I can tell he's another standout guy, and this is going to be, I hope it's a really successful operation, and he has other interests as well. So anyway, I really wish you good luck. Okay?
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, we appreciate you being here. Is there anything you want to say, Jim?
We hope to see all of you there at some point in time.
Okay. And we'll see what happens with the public hearing. What's your scheduled opening date?
Somewhere around November 1.
Okay. All right. We thank you for being here. We'll see if there's anyone that would like to speak concerning this public hearing. If not, I'd entertain a motion
So
to
moved.
close the public hearing. Is there a second? Okay, Commissioner Boyle made the motion. Commissioner Borgeson seconded that motion to close the public hearing. Please vote.
You can declare the public hearing closed.
Okay, without a vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
we're
I
closed.
seconded it because of Rachel's response to Commissioner Boyle.
So we close the
That was
public
great.
hearing. At this time, we could entertain, the public hearing is closed, so we can entertain a motion to go ahead and approve this.
I made that motion and Mary Ann seconded it.
Okay, with that, please vote
I vote yes.
to approve.
Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Much
Thank you.
success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have some, any committees, finance, Commissioner Boyle?
I think we're heading in the right direction. We still have some money in the bank, and that kind of matters. Joe, do you have any comments you want to make? Nothing? Okay. I don't think there's anything significant going on. I think we're still heading toward,
New year.
paying the bills.
Okay, Administrative Services, Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Yes, thank you. We do have a hearing set for Thursday at 1 p.m. here in the legislative chambers regarding the Juvenile Justice Center, the juvenile court space needs, and the public safety bond update. So we invite the public to come out and be heard. Thank you.
Jim? Could I ask Mr. Kavanaugh? I would, as I've said before, and we've talked about this whole project, but I would really appreciate it if you would do it here, because you see all the people who came down to talk, and we're not in a position to answer. I would like to have the give and take, and I'm not able to make that as we talked. We had coffee yesterday. But I would like to have you have it at the county board meeting. You get the advantage of Cox television. We need to become, frankly, I've had conversations, we need to become much more active on Facebook and Twitter and respond, because we really don't have that. We have both accounts, but I don't think we're responding. But I would like to ask you if you would consider at some point, maybe after you wrap up with the judges, if you would have a full-blown hearing here and let these folks come up. I hate to ask them to come back again, but when we can give and take with them and make a total presentation and answer their questions, that's what I'd like to do. So anyway, I just ask you to do that. Consider it.
And I think that's a great idea. We anticipate doing it. As you know, we've held a series of these hearings on the needs of the county attorney, the public defender, the needs of the youth center, and now the needs of the court, the three big components of the proposal. And the point is, at your recommendation, I think Commissioner Morgan's recommendation, is to bring alternatives to the $120 million proposal here.
Yes, we want to see them.
You've I think, been very helpful in your suggestions, and one of them was we need to put some resources behind this. Everything that's been done on the alternative to the $120 million proposal has been done without a dime of contribution from the Douglas County Board, while tens of thousands of dollars have been spent on the $120 million proposal. So I would hope that we would see our way clear to put, as you've recommended in the past, some resources together to bring an alternative to the board.
I really agree, and I think it's a minimal amount of money, and I think it is in order, because you're working hard to bring us it, and we need to see the alternative and discuss it on the same level as the project that's been moving forward. And we do need public input. I'm all for it. I mean, I want to hear people what they have to say and the comments they've made. I'd like to, and I do want to get you some money somehow. I mean, I'm willing to talk to some architects I know and see if they'll help out some way if we can't get $20,000 from the board. But I would like to, and I'm going to try to get that money for you.
And I appreciate that. It'd be great if we got that on the agenda. I know there's public requirements, notice requirements, and if you would put that on the agenda, I'd certainly be willing to second that and push that forward. It's definitely needed for an alternative proposal.
I think it's very reasonable. So I'll do whatever we need to do.
If we could do it next week, I think that would be timely.
All right, thanks. I'll do that.
Mr. Kraft.
And I want to clear up a misconception. You keep hammering in $120 million. A lot of that is going to be for a courthouse, no matter what. Almost all of it. No matter what. No matter where it's placed. Most of that is for the courthouse, which is an absolute necessity.
Well, this is why we need a public hearing. This is the sort of thing that has to be.
And you keep even though we've discussed this a number of times, you keep passing that misconception because it sounds good or whatever. Because it gets people's emotion up. It got mine up, but I want it to be factual. not emotional.
That's what we'll do. We'll do that.
Thank you.
I promise. We'll work on it. Jim and I will hammer it out.
Okay. Let's see, is there, Mark, is there anything on community service that you have?
Sometime next month we'll have a community service meeting. I might want to do it here. We'll be talking about the fair. We'll be talking about something Commissioner Bergeson has on it. And since she has a meeting on the 14th after this, we'll probably do it on the 21st.
Very good. Okay. Criminal Justice, Commissioner Boyle, anything you want to mention?
Well, we're working on a whole lot of interesting things, and mental health is at the front burner, and not only in our facilities, but it even goes beyond that. We're trying to come up with some way, and I have been contacted by CHI. They're the folks that are going to rename the center, you know, the Catholic Health Initiative Health Center. And so we're talking to them. We're going to be talking to them in either August or September about contributing. We appreciate their reports that they give, you know, millions of dollars in service, but to people, but we need cash. So we're going to try to get ask them for 5% of their advertising budget in cash, and we will give them all sorts of credit. And anybody else, UNMC and Methodist, will be talking to them as well. So everybody needs to step up. The time for jawboning is over.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Boyle. Claire, anything on the Health and Human Services?
No, we've had enough good health for a while.
And Commissioner Borgeson on human, okay. Marcos, anything you want to mention on legislative issues?
No.
Very good, Marcos. And we do have a need for an executive session concerning personnel, litigation, and labor negotiations, relations, and contracts. So at this point, if we could have a motion to go into executive session for those three items.
Second.
Motion's made by Commissioner Boyle, seconded by Commissioner Borgeson. And please vote.
I vote yes.
Commissioner Kraft votes yes.
Commissioner Fong, did you vote yes?
Motion passes. All commissioners present voting yes.
Okay.
And then we're doing a tour of the jail after.
Yeah, we could do that right after. We'll just popping in. And then
I still need 2 additional signatures in that book you have there, Commissioner Kavanaugh. So if you don't mind, that'd be awesome. But if you do, I can ask someone else.
What would you like?
Those signatures in the binder, if you haven't signed
In the
already.
binder?
The
They're not here.
the black binder that comes from my office. Yeah, that one.
This is just my hearing binder.
It's not. It was over there.
I'll be in if you want
Yeah.
to bring it over for a couple
Okay,
minutes.
that sounds good. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, here it is.
That one. Yeah, that black binder. Yeah.
Sure.
There's only 2 of you. We cannot do that.
Where is everybody else?
They didn't come out of the room. They're still in there.
Send out that if you want me to get the signatures on that.
Sure. The one that Jerry's name is on the agenda request form?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Hold on 1 second. And then,
Teresa, I do have one more signature that
oh,
I
you
need.
do? Okay,
Yep.
I'll be glad to sign that.
I'll holler at you, Diane. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay.
Patrick, I'll follow you in just a moment. Let me sign this, please. Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed one.
No, no problem.
Okay, there you go.
Appreciate
Still your pen.
it.
Motion to reconvene and adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Mark Kraft, seconded by Claire Duda. I got it. Are you going to corrections, Jim?
I can't.
All right,
PJ.
motion passes all commissioners present voting yes.
Are you going, Claire?
ASAP.